Good morning. I'm going to create a new part studio. I'm going to rename this guy Axle Peg. And I'm going to start drawing it the same as we have with all the other things that are round. I'm going to draw it halfway through, half over, and then revolve it around. So I look at this, and the diameter is 1/4 of an inch. So 0.125. Wow, it's going to be tiny. Let me zoom in. I'm going to go up, and that length is going to be 1 inch. And then I'm going to go, oops, let me go out. And I don't know what that is. I know what the diameter is, but I have to dimension it to the inside here. So I'm just going to wait. I know I'm going to go straight up, and that number is little bitty tiny. It is 0.031, little bitty tiny. And then we have a curve here. So I'm going to deal with that curve in a second. Turn the tool off, turn the tool on, and I need to make the center line. And that center line is 1 plus 0.125, which would be 1 1/25. Yes, that makes sense. I'm now going to dimension from this point to this line, put it up above here, and that dimension is, the diameter is 0.422 divided by 2, which would be 211. Oh, look at that. I can do math. So now I need the top part of the peg here, and there's a little bitty line here, and that distance is going to be half of the 0.25 flat piece at the top. So I'm going to say 0.125, and there's that little piece. And now I'm going to do my 3-point arc, and I'm going to put it here and here, and I want to make sure I don't want it to be locked in. I want to make sure that it's a little bit smaller, because if you lock it in here, it'll be a hard time. It's trying to force it into place. It's trying to help you. So I want to be something else other than that. Remember, this dot is going to end up on that line. So I'm going to click, and I'm going to choose my surface radius of 0.236, enter, and lo and behold, there it is. Green check mark. Revolve this surface along this axis, and there is my peg. Green check mark. Now, a couple of quick things here. The threads on here are not going to show up on here. The resolution, because we're using Onshape, is not going to let us see that. It's just too much for the program to generate. But I do want you to see how this is going to look. I'm going to come over here, and I want to put external threads. So I choose the tool that says external threads. First thing it says is the cylinder edge. So I'm going to click that cylinder edge. So it's showing me that it's going to go up and down this cylinder. My size is 1/4. It's ANSI, which is the standard. We have 20 threads per inch, TPI, threads per inch. The length is going to be 1/4 offset. So if the whole length is 1 inch long, 1/4 of that is 0.25. So the length is going to be 0.75. So it's 1/4 off of 1 inch. And so everything there is the default, and it's ready to go. It did it correctly. Green check mark. And you'll notice there's a space here for it, but you can't really see the threads. So when I go down here to my toy train, and I'm going to open up a second sheet, and when I insert, and I want my axle peg, and when I put my axle peg in here, click, you'll see that it already has the threads are already there. So the threads only show up in your drawing, which is fine. That's totally okay. I do see that there's a space for it here. It shows that it's got a separation here for it, which is what I'm looking for. Okay, so it says that there's a 45-degree chamfer at the bottom down here. So I'm going to tip it up. I'm going to choose that surface. It's a 45 degrees. The distance is 0.03, which happens to be what I have here. I'm not sure if yours is going to say that, but it's 0.03, probably because I've done this shape a couple times, so it remembered what I had done last. So it's 0.03, that little tiny chamfer at the bottom down there. And then we come up to the top, and I need to put a hex into the top. So I'm going to spin this around so I'm actually looking at it flat on. I'm going to start a new sketch on this surface, and I want to choose the inscribed polygon. So it comes out, inscribed polygon. I'm going to click, and I'm going to pull it out. And as I look at it, I know that the angles are going to end up flat. I mean, the corners are going to end up flat on this the X axis here, which is fine. So I'm going to put it down, click. I'm going to tell it what the number of sides are. The number of sides are going to be 6. Click. And then I need to tell it its diameter. I don't know what the diameter is because the information I have doesn't tell me the diameter. What it does tell me is that I'm going to use the coincidence tool and cause this point to line up on this line. Click. And then it says that the distance across the flats. So I go across the flats. So from here to here, across the flats is going to be 5/30 seconds. 5 divided by 32, and that's 0.156, which is fine. I did the math like it said, 5/30 seconds. So there is my hex. Everything's in black. I have it all locked in. Green check mark, extrude. I'm going to extrude that shape. It's going up. Well, that's not right. I want to hit remove. I don't want it to go through the whole thing. The depth that I want it to go down is 0.111. Green check mark. There it is. I can change some colors now. I really like the fact that I'm going yellow with all of these extra little pieces. So I'm going to go yellow. And then green check mark, I'm going to change the thread color just because I want to. And I'm going to change that to light blue. There's my thread color. Green check mark. Okay. When I go back to my blueprint and I hit reload, and so I'm reloading the screen, and I hit reload, you can now see that the hex piece is in the top of my axle peg. And if I come over here, right click and show, right click and show hidden lines, you can see it inside of the axle peg, inside of the top there. So there's how you do it. There's the axle peg. Good luck.